Now, how do you lose weight fast? Well, most of us want to lose those extra kilos. And what I'm going to share with you is all the information that's backed by science, and this will help you boost your weight loss journey. And if you want to lose weight fast, well, there are a few key things that you really need to pay attention to. Now, what I mean by fast is that you can lose around 2 to 4 kilos of weight per month, which is considered as a healthy weight. If you want to lose your weight very drastically, then this is not the video. But if you want to lose your weight very healthily, then continue watching. Now, there are a few key things considered by science to be very important when it comes to losing weight. And one thing that a lot of studies have been done on and has proven to work is intermittent fasting. And short-term intermittent fasting up to 26 weeks in duration is very effective for your weight loss if you club it with a low-calorie diet. And you can follow any of these intermittent fasting methods, whatever suits for you. Number one is ADF, or alternate day fasting. So what you do is you fast on every other day, and on your non-fasting days, you typically just follow a diet. And for those who find this difficult, another variation is that you just try and consume 25 to 30% of your body's energy needs on those days. Basically, the days that you're fasting. Then you have the 5:2 diet. So you fast on 2 out of 7 days. And on the days that you're fasting, you try and eat just around 500 to 600 calories. Pretty much like almost eating a single meal. Then you have the most common, which is the 16/8 method. So you fast for 16 hours, and when you eat only during the 8-hour window. And for most people, this 8-hour window is from noon to around 8 p.m. So that is the time where you try and consume all your meals. In fact, a study on this method found that eating during a restricted period resulted in the participants consuming fewer calories and losing weight. Just make sure that you're following a healthy eating pattern even on your non-fasting days. Now, the very next thing is to track your diet and exercise. Now, just think of this, that you and your friend are going for a drive and you sit in the car and both of you are just driving and you have no idea where you're going. So you're just roaming here and there. But eventually you'll always want to know where you are heading or where that destination is. And literally the same goes with tracking your exercise and diet. Most of us go on a diet and we start an exercise routine, but we don't really know and we don't really track or we log them. Now, when you don't log your diet and exercise, it's almost like trying to just take this car and just drive aimlessly. So when you have this goal or you have something to follow, you will always see better results. So if you want to lose weight, then you should be very aware of what you eat and drink every day. And one of the best ways to do this is try to log them either on an app or just write it in a journal. In fact, research suggests that tracking your diet and exercise may be helpful for weight loss because it promotes behavioral changes and also increases motivation. And there is also another study that found that consistent tracking of physical activity helped people with weight loss. So even devices like a fitness tracker can also be very useful as a weight loss tool. Now, this is something that most of us really need to do this in especially today's world, and that is eating very mindfully. Now, when I say eating mindfully, it's very simple but very difficult to follow these days. And just knowing what you're eating, how the food looks, how does it taste, just makes you enjoy the food even more. Because what are most people doing these days? When they eat, most of them are either watching Netflix or they're eating very quickly and just running back either to work or to do something. Many are even eating while they're working on their desks. And chewing your food slowly and enjoying your food, this technique helps you with weight loss because it does something very simple. It gives a person's brain enough time to recognize the signals that they are full. And it can also prevent the person from overeating. And just make sure that whatever you're eating is food that will give you a lot of nourishment that will not just satisfy you for minutes, but for hours. So your bowl should be filled with whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whatever, anything that is very nutrient dense. Because the foods that you choose should satisfy you for hours and not just for minutes. Now, when it comes to your meals, just make sure that you're eating enough protein and fiber. So when you have foods with a lot of protein and fiber, what it does is it will send a signal to the brain that your stomach is full and to stop sending food. And research also shows that young adults who have breakfast with high protein foods, they can feel full for several hours. So make sure that you're getting good enough protein in your foods. So whether it's your oats, nuts, seeds, butters, quinoa, porridge, or chia seed pudding, just go for it. And also when you eat, try and go for a lot of fiber-rich foods because they will reduce your hunger and make you feel full much longer, which will also help you not consume too many calories. Now this, I think almost everyone will tell you, so just try cutting back on your sugar and also your refined carbohydrates. Now if you follow a lot of the Western diets, which is your McDonald's breakfast and your Burger King breakfast, now most of them are already high sugar diets, which has definite links to obesity. Not just that, even their coffees and their beverages, a lot of them are just filled with sugars. So you might think that those foods are a breakfast and it's healthy, but most of them are just like desserts. Now, try and stay away also from refined grains because refined grains undergo a process where they remove the bran from the grain and they also remove the germ where most of the fiber and the nutrients are present in it. And most of these you'll know as your white bread, your white rice, and even your regular pasta. And all the other items which are made of refined flour or those maida items. And these foods do something very simple because the moment you consume them, they will immediately get digested. That means your glucose levels will go up. And because your glucose levels go up, your insulin levels just spikes. And this eventually leads to weight gain, which none of us really want. In fact, there is a 2023 study that shows links to the consumption of refined grains and weight gain. So just make sure that you're trying to go for whole grain bread or rice or even pasta compared to the white ones, fruits, nuts, and seeds instead of high sugar snacks, herbal teas and infused water instead of high sugar sodas, and smoothies with water instead of fruit juice. Now, losing weight is one thing, but while losing weight, one thing we do not want to mismanage is our gut bacteria. In fact, research also shows that gut bacteria plays a very important role in weight management. And the human gut hosts a vast number and variety of microorganisms, including 39 trillion bacteria. And all of us have very different types and varieties of bacteria in our gut. And to make sure that all these bacteria and microorganisms are very healthy in your gut, you should try and eat a lot of foods that have fiber. And to increase these good bacteria in your gut for weight loss, you should do a few things. Eat a variety of plant foods, which is your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, your grains, and anything that can increase the fiber intake. And just make sure that when you're eating any kind of meal, 75% of that meal is filled with vegetables. Then also try to consume a lot of fermented food. Now, fermented food has a lot of probiotics, which also there is a lot of research that shows that probiotics help when it comes to weight loss. And like probiotic, try to also consume foods that have prebiotics. Now, prebiotic foods help to stimulate the growth and activity of some of the good bacteria, which helps in weight loss control. And prebiotic foods are present in many fruits and vegetables. And a few of them are your chicory root, your onions, garlic, banana, and even avocado. And it's also in grains such as oats and barley. Now, the next is to get a good night's sleep. Now, there are numerous studies that show that people who sleep for less than 5 to 6 hours per night, their chances of getting obese is much higher. And there are many reasons behind it. So, when your sleep is insufficient or you have poor quality sleep, it slows down the process in which the body converts calories to energy, which is your metabolism. And when metabolism is less effective, the body may store unused energy as fat. And poor sleep can also cause insulin resistance and increased level of cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which also promotes fat storage. So if you really want to lose weight, you have to make sure that you're sleeping at least for 7 to 9 hours. And last but not the least, that is backed by science, is to manage your stress levels. And when you are stressed, your body releases two things, which is cortisol and adrenaline. What happens during this time, it will initially just decrease your appetite because it is gone in the whole fight or flight mode. But if you are constantly stressed, then cortisol will stay in your bloodstream for a very long time, which will then increase the appetite and potentially make you eat a lot more. And what happens at this moment is that your body just wants to make sure that you have enough energy, so it makes you consume a lot of carbohydrate rich food. But if you do not use those carbohydrates because you're in the fight or flight mode, your body will store all of that as fat. But researchers also found that if you keep your stress very low for a good amount of time, and if you follow a low calorie diet, it will help you reduce a lot of weight. And even though these are backed by science, well, there are still many ways to lose weight. Just know that consistency is the key, and also try and use any method that is very sustainable for you, so you're not trying to lose weight very drastically. And also, when it comes to weight loss, just try and not only look at the end goal, but also try and enjoy the whole journey. Because if you enjoy the journey, then you will end up keeping that weight off you for a very long time. So just make sure that you don't do anything extreme. And if you like what you saw, do check out any other videos on this channel, and also let me know in the comments when it has come to weight loss, what has really helped you. And until we meet again next, don't stress and be awesome. Rocher that.